The Pelicans are in a very difficult position right now, and it looks like the only way out is by trading their superstar, Zion Williamson. The once highly praised prodigy from Duke hasn't been able to find his home with the Pelicans, and on top of that, he has struggled a lot with injuries, which gives both sides wiggle room to look for a future elsewhere. But who is the surprising candidate from the Eastern Conference that could offer a great package for Zion? And more importantly, how will this bode for him in the big picture? There is no other way of saying it. The Pelicans are stuck with their development, and they have practically no way out if they are keeping their core the way it is right now. Their 2024-25 season ended up abruptly as they finished 14th in the Western Conference, with Williamson playing just 30 games. In those 30 games, he averaged 24.6 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 5.3 assists. But a worrying fact was the limited minutes he had to play under, just 28.6 minutes per game. It seems like the injuries have done their thing, and the Pelicans might be smart to look for a trade while the Beast still holds some value in himself. There are teams that are ready to offer packages for Zion because of the situation they found themselves in all of a sudden, and one of them is the Detroit Pistons. This is a team that was stuck at the bottom of the Eastern Conference not that long ago, but with the former number 1 pick Cade Cunningham having the season of his career, and with Jaden Ivey showing a lot of promise before the season-ending injury in January, we might be in for a pleasant surprise after all. However, after the 6-game loss against the Knicks in the playoffs, it became evident that they are missing a piece in order to compete for the championship, and that piece might be found in Williamson. After losing a lot of weight and gaining muscle, Zion has shown determination to return himself to the highest form of himself, the one that we saw at Duke. And if you pair that with Cunningham, who knows where the ceiling is for the Pistons? The scenario in which Detroit is going to land Zion revolves around Tobias Harris and Ron Holland as vital pieces of their core that they have to pay the price for, as well as a pair of first-round picks. This is a non-negotiable factor for the Pelicans, a team that will need those picks if they were to part ways with Williamson. But given his injury history, it's also a risky move for the Pistons as well. If you were to give up a couple of your first-rounders, you'd expect a stable player who will be a walking double-double machine, dunking on every human being possible, except Wemby maybe. And the injury history is exactly the factor that the Pistons can use to their own advantage if they somehow see the opportunity to land Williamson on their team. They know better than anyone else that an injury-prone player is the last thing that you need on your team. The hip and leg injuries of Cade Cunningham have kept him out of the court for a long period of time. Still, he was able to bounce back in a strong manner. But this is not a guarantee for Williamson at all. He is already proving to be a massive solution for the pick-and-roll game for the Pistons if they were to combine with him and Cade, but at the end of the day, you'd need a strong and mobile version of Zion to accomplish this. Another very important thing that needs to be discussed here is the shift of management in the inner circles of the Pelicans. Joe Dumars is now the Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations, a celebrated figure from his olden days with the Pistons. He is known for one fact: he wants to build a team around players who are willing to give up their ego and to work for the common goal, rather than have a superstar player and just hope that all of the side pieces will click alongside him. It's a strategic bet that he will try to extract as much as he can from Williamson's trade potential. But make no mistake, just because we are talking about a superstar, it doesn't automatically mean that the Pelicans are going to ditch him for nothing. And you have to look at the Pelicans' current situation in order to understand where they are coming from. They are literally standing on the brink of change, and the possibility of a historic overhaul is both daunting and exhilarating at the same time. The management of the team is confused and is looking for a simple answer from a rather complex situation. Can we build our team around Williamson? And if we can't, what should we ask for him in return? He is a superstar, that is not in question, but only if he is healthy enough to prove his worth on the court. Everything outside of that is just empty talk and faulty promises that the team who would like to trade for him would have to bet on at their own risk. According to Zach Buckley from Bleacher Report, there is a trade scenario piece that sends the two-time All-Star to the Detroit Pistons in the blockbuster deal. And, in this scenario, the Pelicans are going to receive Jaden Ivey, Tobias Harris, Bobby Clintman, a 2027 first-round pick, top 3 protected, and a 2025 second-round pick via Toronto. This is a very good proposal for the Pelicans, given the fact that they will have a top 3 pick in 2027 and a second-round pick in this year's draft as well. But on top of that, they will land a player who showed a lot of potential before getting injured, Jaden Ivey. If he can rehabilitate successfully from his injury, we might be looking at a team that is ready to win it all in the West, or at least climb the ladder and make the playoffs until the top 3 pick is ready to help the rebuild process. There is no beating around the bush. The Pelicans are in the 6th season with Williamson, and the success is nowhere to be found. Buckley has gone on to slice up the results of the team, which hinted that there is literally nothing they can do in order to improve unless Williamson somehow unlocks the prime beast that he was back in Duke. Elaborating on this, Buckley said, "The Pelicans are 6 years into the Williamson era, and here is what they have to show for it. 2 playoff trips, 0 postseason series wins, 2 coaching changes, a head of the front office firing, and some notable and costly trades that haven't panned out. And we all know what they say about doing the same thing over and over and expecting a new result, right?" A thing that sounds unrealistic but is a reality is the fact that despite making the playoffs twice with Williamson, he hasn't played a single postseason game in his career due to injury. And the trade of Brandon Ingram has gone on to show that they are ready to build around young and upcoming talents in the next couple of years. So, if they can land the 2027 top 3 draft pick from the Pistons for Williamson, that would be a massive boost for the future of the Pelicans. And of course, with the draft picks that the Spurs own, as well as the potential availability of Antetokounmpo, we might be able to see a wild scenario in which Milwaukee would receive the big man from the Pelicans, Keldon Johnson from the Spurs, and a couple of picks from Atlanta and the Spurs, while Giannis would go to the Spurs and the Pelicans would receive Devin Vassell, Pat Connaughton, and a 2027 first-round pick via Atlanta. It's not the top 3 protected one like the Pistons, but given the depth of Vassell and Connaughton, they will work with it. With all this in mind, do you think that Williamson would fit in great with Cunningham in Detroit? And more importantly, do you think that he should find his way out of the Pelicans and seek new pastures for a fresh restart of his career? Let us know in the comments below.